Hello guys, F.a.d here and welcome back to yet another new video on the channel. Oh my god, it's been a while again. I believe it's been about a month since my last video, which was of course the last Fury of a Deadman review. And well, basically my only excuse is just, basically time. I just have not had the time to really make any more videos. School has been giving me so much work, it's unbelievable. So many assignments, tests, stuff like that, and like to add to that, we've actually got like a week filled with tests coming up, in a week or so. So that's gonna be absolutely perfect for my schedule. Yeah, and then of course I also am working on the weekends, which of course means that even in the weekends I don't really have that much time. And then to top it all off, we recently bought a dog. Yeah, a nice little puppy. So yeah, that's another piece of responsibility that of course I have to take care of. And again, as a result, it means I have even less free time, especially to do videos. So that's why I have not been uploading. Hell, finding the time to just record this one video right here was difficult enough. But I mean, I managed to find some free time where I'm not too tired, because that's also a huge problem. I'm just always so tired. But whatever, what's most important is that right now I've got the time to do this one video for you guys. And we're just gonna keep it, we're gonna switch things up a little bit, but we're gonna keep it in the same veins. And we're still gonna stick to albums, and that's what we're gonna be doing here today. But instead of just reviewing them like I usually do, I'm going to be ranking them. Yes, I'm going to be ranking a band's discography. Now this is something that I might turn into a little bit of a series, like I might do this for other bands as well. I'm not sure, because the one reason that I'm doing this today is because for this particular band I did not really feel the need to go through every single album individually in their own video. And that band is Breaking Benjamin. Yeah, of course, I mean, you read the title, right? I'm wearing their t-shirt right now, as you can see. Breaking Benjamin, with the logo in the middle. It's a great shirt. And yeah, easily one of my favorite bands. I think they are just so... I mean, they're just, I don't know what it is. Breaking Benjamin are one of the most consistent bands out there. I mean, there's not really any low points in their entire career. I mean, of course, there was the hiatus, but come on. Like, we all know that, some bad stuff happened, like first it was, Benjamin's illness, like his mystery illness, and then all the legal problems in the band from their greatest hit CD, stuff like that. But they're back. They've been back for a couple of years now with a new lineup, and well, they have not changed much, and that's probably the biggest criticism that the band gets, is that their music all sounds very similar, and that it's all the same, that they don't really switch it up at all. But I mean, I don't really have a problem with that. I mean, when you go out to listen Breaking Benjamin, you know what you're expecting, you know what you're gonna get, and it's just consistent. I mean, I like the fact, I prefer this to like some other artists who completely change their sound and like basically sell out for a more poppy sound, like Fury of a Deadman. Oh my god, I hope their next album is gonna be better. But okay, Breaking Benjamin have stuck to their post-grunge roots, and I like that. I appreciate that a lot, and they've been very successful over the years. Like I said, one of my favorite bands, easily right up there. I own all of their CDs, and I'm already gonna say this right off the bat, before I rank these CDs, I like all of them. Like, I am a huge fan of the band. Like I said, not a single low point in their entire career, basically, in my opinion. But I still have to rank them, so keep in mind that even some of the lower placed albums on here, I mean, I still like them, it's just that I don't like them as much as the others. And I'm already gonna say that there might be a controversial opinion in this video. I'm just gonna put that right out there. I've seen some other Breaking Benjamin rankings of like all their CDs from worst to best, and well, let's just say that there's a little bit of a difference in this video. But without any more further ado, I think I've gotten everything out of the way. I'm hoping to get through this as quick as I can, but knowing me, it's gonna be probably a half an hour video. I don't know. These videos always go on for way too long on this channel. Something I really should fix, by the way, but I mean, I'm not really helping by just extending this intro. So let's just get started. Of course, the band have 6 albums. And yeah, that means that this first album I'm gonna be showing you guys is gonna be number 6. Oh my god, this one is already gonna turn some heads, I think. Please don't crucify me, but at number 6, I'm putting Breaking Benjamin's Ember. Yes, guys, the most recent album from the band, the one that was released earlier this year, is my least favorite Breaking Benjamin album. Now, this is already going to be very controversial. I mean, some of you guys are already going to be hating me in the comments or whatever, just clicking off the video entirely. Of course, leaving a dislike first, probably. But let me explain, okay? Let me explain. I do like this album. I think it's great. It's definitely one of the better releases of the year. But I don't know, out of all these albums, this is the one I just keep coming back to the least. I don't know what it is. Ever since I bought it, it's just I've listened to it from time to time, but like whenever I want to listen to Breaking Benjamin, I'm definitely more likely to go and, you know, put on some of the other CDs. This is like something that I listen like sometimes. Like, I like some of the tracks on here, of course, the singles, Red Cold River, Torn in Two. I mean, some other great songs like Psycho. I mean, that has a great chorus on it, and we all know I'm a sucker for a great chorus. I also love Feed the Wolf. I love some of the slower tracks, like The Dark of You. So overall, it's still a good album. I like it, but it's definitely the album that I keep coming back to the least. It just doesn't really have that something to it. It misses something. I don't know what it is exactly, but it's just like whenever I look at all these albums, I'm like, what should I listen to today? This is the last one that really is on my list, if you know what I mean. And another criticism of mine is that it's super short. I mean, this album is like way below 40 minutes, and it has both an intro track and an outro track. So, God, I mean, that means that in terms of just, actual songs, there's not much here. Of course, I'm saying not much, but you know what I mean. It's by far their shortest album, and you know what I mean. It's always been a thing that I've disliked on records when they're like shorter than 40 minutes. It's just kind of been like a little pet peeve, I guess you could say. But I mean, it's just that it's the only one like this. I mean, it's not like the band are known for short records. I mean, sure, they've not really ever been too long, but they've always been over 40 minutes, if you know what I mean. And add to that the fact that, like I said, it has both an intro track and an outro. It even shortens the experience a little bit. So this is definitely a quick album. You'll put it on, you listen to it, it's over, boom. Like I said, it's still a good album. It's heavy, which is something that we don't see often from, like mid-2000s bands that are still going on today. So I do appreciate that. It's a good album. Definitely, like I said, one of my favorites of the year, but definitely my least favorite of their discography. Now that we moved that out of the way, let's get into what might be another controversial opinion. Number 5 is going to be Saturate. Yes, the freaking debut album. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've seen some lists put this all the way at the bottom, but I've seen other lists which put it all the way at the top. So I guess this one divides the fan base a little bit. Of course, not too much, because everyone, like all Breaking Benjamin fans, do agree that all of their music is pretty great. So, yeah, but this is definitely clocks in at number 5 for me. I do come back to it more often than I do to Ember. And I don't know, I mean, it's just interesting to see the beginning of a band as successful as Breaking Benjamin. I mean, this is where it all started, of course, after the independent self-titled release. This was their first, full-length studio album. And, I mean, it's just interesting to see how the band started off. I mean, you can clearly feel the vibes of later Breaking Benjamin. Like, this is still very much a Breaking Benjamin record. But at the same time, it's kind of different. Like, I mean, like I said before, Breaking Benjamin are known for like all of their music sounding very similar, but this is definitely the one album where it sounds a little different. Like, you can like clearly hear the difference from this, like between this and like the later albums. Like, you can clearly distinguish it, if you know what I mean. Even though it's, like I said, it's still a Breaking Benjamin album at its core, but the band is still yet to mature. It's still yet to completely find its own sound, which they would of course later cement on their second album, which we will get to later, don't worry. And yeah, but despite that, this is still a great album. It's actually their longest album, so it's kind of, we're going from their shortest to their longest. And on one hand, it might be a negative, because some do say that it drags on a bit too much. It's a bit too long, and that the second half of the album is a bit it's good, but it's a bit meh. It's got some filler to it, but of course, I'm a guy who usually never really minds filler all that much. I mean, come on, I'm somebody who likes Nickelback, so there we go. all my credibility out of the window right there in one split second. But I do like a lot of the stuff on here, even in the second half of the album. Like, but the first half is definitely the highlight. I mean, track one, like all the way, like just through like the first half, it's just great. Like there's no weaker, like not even a slight weaker point in my opinion. Like Wish I May, Medicate, Polyamorous, Skin, Natural Life. That one has such a good chorus. Like Breaking Benjamin always has had good choruses. Even in their very first album, they've always had great choruses. And even in the second half, like I especially really like the closing track. Well, not really the closing track, since there's also a hidden song on after it. But Shallow Bay, again, I love the chorus on it. Like the choruses are great. They've been great. They've always been great, even here at the very beginning. But still, Saturate is my fifth favorite. Like that's what I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say it's my second least favorite. I'm gonna say it's my fifth favorite because I like all of these albums. My fifth favorite Breaking Benjamin album. Then moving on to number 4, right outside of the top 3, unfortunately, we have Dear Agony. Now, Dear Agony is the last Breaking Benjamin album to be released before the hiatus, so this is of course the last one with the old lineup. And it's a good way to go out for those guys, because this is a very good album. This is probably around the time when Breaking Benjamin started to get a bit stale for people. Like this is where all the critics started to like realize that, oh my god, their music all sounds the same. Like after We Are Not Alone and Phobia, they had Dear Agony, and it did not really change things up at all. But still, it was another solid Breaking Benjamin album. Here with a nice cover. Of I'm pretty sure it was Benjamin Burnley's head scan, so that's interesting with of course the logo. By the way, I want a small little comment about Breaking Benjamin covers, like the cover art. I always like how it always keeps to the same template, like the same formula. It's always the band name in the top left, the name of the album in the top right, and then you just have the album, like the cover art, and then somewhere in it you have the band logo, like just hidden somewhere. Like, I mean, not really hidden, but you know what I mean. I just like how they've kept that style for their entire discography. It's been consistent, just like their music. You know, and always the same font as well. Just Breaking Benjamin, then the name of the album. I don't know, it's just something I really like. I mean, it's a bit distinctive, I guess. But whatever, now that we move past that, Dear Agony is a great album. I mean, it's got some fan favorites on it. I mean, of course, the first one that will come to mind is I Will Not Bow. Of course, that was a big hit, of course. And then also the slower song, Give Me a Sign. Those are probably the two which will, you know, pop into your head at first. But then you've got some deeper cuts, like I freaking adore the title track on this, Dear Agony. Like every time the chorus kicks in, I just get shivers running down my spine. I man, get goosebumps because of how epic it is, man. Just, you know, Dear Agony, oh, is this the way it's gotta be? Like, oh, like, okay, I should really stop singing. It's not for me. But whatever. Great album. Great closing out track as well, Without You. Just overall, just a very solid album all the way throughout. Also the opening song, Fade Away, just had to mention it as well. But I'm not really gonna go out of my way to mention every single song that I like, because overall, I like all of these songs, but as a total package, Dear Agony definitely does come in at number 4 for me. Still a very great album. Now it's time for yet another controversial opinion. Now this might turn some heads, like for real. Some of you might give me some confused looks, but just hear me out. Actually, I mean, I don't really have a good argument for it, but whatever. At number 3, you know, the first spot on the podium, we have Dark Before Dawn. Yes, like every single list I've seen online, like doesn't matter what it is, this album was always in either dead last or right above dead last. Like it was either 6th or 5th. It was never anywhere near you know, the top of the list every single time. And I've really, I mean, from what I've found, you know, I'm not sure if there's some like obscure list somewhere that I just was not able to track down, but for me, this is my 3rd favorite Breaking Benjamin album. I don't know why. Everyone just kind of hates it because this album is just more of the same. It's their most basic album, and that it does nothing new at all, and that it's just there in their discography. But I don't know. I mean, it's just, of course, like I do agree, it's another Breaking Benjamin album. It doesn't stray away from the formula, but the songs that are on here are so good. Of course, this is the first album the band released after their long hiatus. Benjamin Burnley returned to the rock scene with a new lineup, and this was the result. Debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, which is still the only time that they were able to do that, even though they came close with other records. And it's just, the way the album starts off right off the bat. You have the intro, Dark, and also like how the name of the album is Dark Before Dawn, and then the intro track is Dark, and then the outro is called Dawn, so it's like Dark Before Dawn. Okay, you know what I mean. But it starts out with Dark, then moves into the opening track, Failure, which I remember, such a great single. Failure, easily in my top 5 favorite Breaking Benjamin songs in general. What a track. That chorus is so amazing. It's so epic. Like, I remember the first time I heard it, I honestly was mind blown. I was like, oh my god, this is so good. And again, I am gonna say, it does not stray away from the formula. It's another Breaking Benjamin song, you could say. Like, they've been doing this for years with stuff like Diary of Jane and So Cold. But it works, it simply works, and I just love the chorus on this one. That's like tear the whole world down. I love that so much. And then after that, you got Angels Fall, another single. Before you go into Breaking the Silence, which has this heavy chorus and stuff, and Hollow, which has another epic chorus. Like all over the gap. You even have of course the Ashes of Eden, which is this nice different song. Like it's very different. It's slow. It has no heavy guitars. It's just nice, clean singing all the way throughout. It's just a beautiful track, and overall, this is just such a good album. Like I understand where people are coming from when they say that it's like either the worst, like it should be lower on the list. But for me, this album will definitely be always one of my favorites in their discography. It's probably my go-to album, like my go-to Breaking Benjamin album, actually, whenever I just want to listen to some Breaking Benjamin. Like, it's not my favorite, it's not my number 1, but whenever I'm just looking to listen to something, I just pop this on. Maybe that's again another one of the reasons why people don't like it, is maybe just because it's simple and easy to listen to, like easy listening. But for me, that's not really a negative. There is enough complexity here, honestly, and it's just, I've been talking about this one album for way too long now, so I'm gonna wrap it up. I just really like this album. I'm sorry if you disagree, but for me, this definitely is my number 3. So yeah, that is definitely an opinion that not many people are gonna agree with, I think, but moving into the top 2, I can safely say that, this one is not gonna have too much debate. Some people might disagree a little bit, but at the end of the day, this is definitely the popular opinion. So from now on, no big surprises. But this was definitely the most difficult part of the video. Like, trust me, deciding between number 1 and number 2. But it was very difficult. But I have come to the decision, and that is that my number 2 Breaking Benjamin album is We Are Not Alone. Yes, guys, it was so difficult between this and Phobia, which of course now is gonna be number 1, but we're not gonna get into it yet. Honestly, it probably changes. It depends on the day. It depends on what mood I'm in. Like, on some days, this probably would be my number 1, but I guess today it's my number 2. It's just how it is. But We Are Not Alone, this is such a great record. From the beginning to the very end, high level, doesn't let up for 1 second for the entire record. No misstep, not a single one. Just a very, very good album. And actually, now that I think about it, I've made a mistake earlier in the video where I said that Ember is the only album under 40 minutes. This album was originally under 40 minutes as well, but it was later re-released with the band version of Rain, the single version. Which then made it so that the album went above 40 minutes. So yeah, just clearing that up. But still, great album. Honestly, you start off So Cold. That is, again, one of the best Breaking Benjamin songs. One of the go-tos. You think of Breaking Benjamin, and the opening guitar, the opening guitar to So Cold pops into your head. Like, maybe not for everyone, but it's definitely one of the first things that you think of. And then just the haunting vocals, like everything on it, it's perfect. Like, oh my god, I'm such a fangirl, I know, but it's such a great song. I can't praise it enough. And later it just doesn't let up. You got song like Simple Design, which is a bit heavier, more upbeat, high tempo. Then you got songs like Follow, Firefly, Break My Fall, which again just follow that trend. And then eventually in the middle of the album you got a bit of a slower track, Forget It, which is surprisingly amazing. It's just this slower track, I mean, and you can feel the emotion in Benjamin Burnley's voice. I mean, it's something you can always just feel the emotion when he's singing, which is something I really love in him as a vocalist. But this is one of those songs that really showcases it. I mean, just the way you can like feel the heartbreak when he sings that. I mean, it's like he's just numb to the like he's felt the pain of heartbreak and just numb to it, you know. I guess it's a bit up for debate as to what the song is about, but for me it's always been like, oh, he fell in love with this girl, but they can't really be together, that kind of situation. And whatever, let's just move on from that, because maybe some people disagree, but again, another great song. And then you got a song like Sooner or Later, which again, is actually one of my personal favorite Breaking Benjamin songs. It's one of the songs that really got me into the band properly, because before I knew of the band, I didn't really, I knew their most famous songs, but I wasn't a huge fan. But Sooner or Later was like one of those songs that I heard, like the chorus just hooked me so much, and I was like, man, this shit is tight. So I just had to say that. And Breakdown again also has a great chorus. It's heavy. Freaking Away, Believe, oh my god, it's such a heavy track. Like, I just love every time Benjamin just goes off and it's like, I don't care what you want, I just want mine. And then it finishes off with Rain. Both versions of it, which, you know, whatever, but both of them are beautiful, and it's just a great way to finish off an amazing album. But yeah, despite all of that praise, in this video it is my number 2. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is simply because at number 1 we have, of course, Phobia. Yes, guys, we have Breaking Benjamin's Phobia. Probably their most successful record, I would say. Their most well-known one, I don't know. Basically all because of the Diary of Jane. I mean, their most famous song is on here. But that's definitely one of the highlights on the record, but there is so much more to it. I mean, every Breaking Benjamin fan will know from beginning to end, this is a masterpiece. Again, such a good album, definitely a classic of the mid-2000s. It will go down as one of the best albums of that time period easily. And it's just, I mean, again, you start off, this is the album that started off the trend for Breaking Benjamin to have intros and outros, which is something they would later do on Dark Before Dawn and also Ember this year. This one has an intro and an outro, but they're just called intro and outro here. They don't have special names, but whatever. Then you go into Diary of Jane, of course. No. It's kind of, I mean, it's their most well-known song, and because of how much, you know, you've heard it and how famous it is, it's kind of lost its touch over time, but it still is definitely a very good song. It's still amazing despite all of that, but it's kind of been oversaturated, I guess you could say, a bit. After that you got the song Breath, which again is a classic for the fan base. Absolutely amazing. I love the chorus on it, I love the vocals, but that's basically the case for the entire album. I can just go off and praise every single song on here, because this is just a perfect album. I mean, You has a haunting chorus. I mean, every time Benjamin just starts singing You, and that sounded terrible, I am so sorry, but every time he starts singing that, it's just so haunting. Like I said, it's amazing. It really does have an effect on you as a listener. And then you got more just, you know, great epic choruses like Evil Angel, Dance with the Devil, and then you got great songs like Topless, and oh my god. And then also near the end, a very underrated song, You Fight Me. That's a great song, very criminally underrated in my opinion. And then of course the outro, and not much more I can really say. Like I said, it's a classic of the mid-2000s, an absolutely amazing record. And yeah, definitely the album just completely cemented Breaking Benjamin's place in, you know, that hall of fame of rock, you know, definitely for that time period. At least for me, definitely. I mean, like I said, I love their entire discography, consistent all the way throughout, in every sense of the word. But yeah, that's it, guys. Yeah, that was my ranking. You might disagree with it, you probably do disagree with it. I mean, the entire thing with Ember and Dark Before Dawn, like, I'm pretty sure some of you could just like do with switching those two albums on this list, and then it will be alright. But this is my opinion, guys. Like, I'm sorry, I like Ember, I do, I don't hate it, I actually really do like it. It's just that it's my least favorite Breaking Benjamin album. But still, like, love their entire discography. Just such a good band. Like I said, they never disappoint, if you know what I mean. And I hope that that continues. But yeah, that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like I said, it's just very difficult with scheduling and stuff like that these days to just find time for these videos. Like, this is why I don't really want to start doing another series of like a series of reviews for an entire band's discography. Like, I don't want to go out and start reviewing all the Metallica albums, even though that's a bad example because I already like reviewed 3 of them. But because it just would take too long, because every time I'm doing like a series of reviews, I always like feel the pressure. I always have the thought in the back of my head that, oh shit, I still have to like record the next review in the series. Like, I still have something to do, if you know what I mean. And I don't like that pressure, considering that I've already got enough pressure with school and stuff. So that's why I don't want to do that. I don't know what my next video will be. I don't even know when my next video will be. But yeah, I don't know. It's safe to say that there probably won't be another video before Halloween. Hell, I'll be lucky enough if I get this video out before Halloween. But we'll see. I'm sure I can probably manage that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me in the comments below what you guys think. I always love to read your guys' opinions. That's something I really love doing. Just tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of Breaking Benjamin as a band? I mean, do you love them? Do you think they're decent? Or do you just don't like them that much because their music sounds way too similar? And then, of course, if you are a fan, tell me what your ranking is. Of course, like, tell me how much you disagree. Tell me maybe if you actually agree with what I said. But whatever the case may be, we all have our own opinion. There is not one opinion which is right, and that's the amazing thing about opinions and just music in general. I mean, everyone can have their own thoughts. You can't call some music just good music and some music bad music. Everyone has their own tastes, and that's beautiful. But okay, just kind of went off topic there. Just tell me in the comments below what your thoughts are. And yeah, my name is F.a.d. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's probably like the 5th time I've said that already. And I'm gonna see you guys next time, whenever the hell that may be. God. Bye.